The day begins with a heavy silence around Preet. She sits quietly, staring at the corner where Barty once played, laughed, and brightened the entire house. When Anupama walks in, Preet finally speaks, her voice trembling. She admits the house feels painfully empty without Barty. Anupama listens with moist eyes, because she too feels that absence, the absence of a child whose smile had become everyone's peace. Preet's voice breaks as she wonders why God makes innocent people suffer, and for the first time, she confesses her deepest fear: what if Barty doesn't survive? Anupama immediately holds her hand, telling her not to lose hope and to keep faith alive, no matter how dark the day feels. Trying to take action instead of crying, Preet goes out and applies for a bank loan. But each bank gives her the same answer: no instant approval. She returns home exhausted and defeated. Anupama hugs her tightly, assuring her they will find a way together. Preet feels torn between paying house rent and keeping Barty alive, but Anupama's mind is already searching for solutions. Meanwhile, in Parag's household, a storm is waiting to burst. Parthana finally gathers all her courage and speaks her truth. Folding her hands, she tells Parag that Gautam forced himself on her multiple times and that the child she is carrying is his. Gautam instantly explodes, accusing her of framing him to hide her own mistakes. Vasundhara is quick to attack Parthana, calling her shameless and manipulative. But for once, Parthana doesn't crumble. She stands firm, repeating her truth, even as the entire room shakes with accusations. Parag is devastated, confused, and angry, yet he tells Parthana to return home with him. But Parthana takes the biggest step of her life: she refuses. She openly admits she likes Ansh and doesn't want to return to a marriage built on fear and lies. Khyati, always ready to poke trouble, comments that Anupama's influence is behind everything. Rahi stands in a corner, shaken and speechless as her world turns upside down. Back in the chawl, Anupama and Prem pray desperately for Barty, their voices trembling. As they pray, Sarita and the other women from the chawl arrive with small bundles of money they collected amongst themselves. They hand it to Anupama, saying it's for Barty's treatment. Anupama's heart fills with gratitude, her eyes brimming with tears. Sarita sighs at how unpredictable life is. One day Barty was smiling, and the next she's fighting death. Preet vows that once Barty recovers, she will visit Siddhivinayak temple to thank God. At Parag's home, the tension grows. Vasundhara and Parag argue while Gautam proudly declares that Parthana herself confessed she loves Ansh. Parag, furious and fed up, tells Gautam to leave the house if he wishes. Vasundhara threatens to leave with him. The house turns still, thick with anger. Later, Parthana goes to Ansh with tears streaming down her face. She begs him not to misunderstand her and tells him she truly likes him. But she also explains she doesn't want to force a relationship on him, especially with her pregnancy. She only hopes they can remain friends. Ansh, calm and responsible, tells her his duties won't allow him to be anything more than a friend. Parthana, though hurt, smiles faintly, grateful that he didn't walk away. Back in Anupama's world, she quietly removes her last precious possession, her gold earrings. Without hesitation, she sells them for money to save Barty. When she returns home, Preet is overwhelmed with emotion, realizing what Anupama has sacrificed for her child. But hardship isn't done yet. The landlord arrives and demands rent, threatening eviction. Preet tries explaining their crisis, but he doesn't care. Anupama steps forward, pays the rent immediately, and prevents them from being thrown out. Somewhere else, Pakhi continues sinking into greed. Ishani questions her about missing money. Pakhi casually admits she sold free samples to a client for profit. Ishani panics about Meeta finding out, but Pakhi shrugs, saying Ishani should focus on the rich boy whose contact she forwarded. Pakhi shows once again that morals don't exist in her dictionary. At the hospital, Barty slowly regains consciousness. Her voice is weak, her eyes barely open, but the first name she whispers is Sumit. Preet's face hardens as she tells her the truth. Sumit abandoned her when she needed him most. Barty refuses to accept this. Tears form in her eyes as she looks around, still believing he might walk in. Her fragile hope refuses to break, even when reality has crushed it, and the episode ends there, on Barty's heartbreak, Preet's helpless fear, and Anupama's quiet strength.